Hello, this is Rand Paul. Thanks for coming to randpaul2010.com. I'm sitting here today in Northern Kentucky. We've had a busy weekend. I'm meeting with Jim Babka from downsizedc.org. He's going to tell us a little bit about some of the bills they promote, and I think I'm going to be able to support what they're doing, and we may be able to officially do some things for their website and vice versa maybe. This is Jim Babka.
Well, Rand, the main bill, the bill that downsizedc.org is known for, is the Read the Bills Act, which is a requirement that Congress would actually have to read their bills. We say that first of all they have to sign an affidavit. If they want to cast a yes vote, to tax us, to regulate us, to bind us in any way, they have to sign an affidavit saying that they've either read the bill for themselves or they've heard it read. In the heard it read part, the Constitution says that a quorum is 50% plus one of the members. We say that that quorum needs to be seated to listen to the full reading of the bill from start to finish by the clerk. And the benefit of this is obvious to most people. In fact, probably some people that are hearing this right now are already starting to giggle, because if Congress has to sit and listen to these bills, they're going to start to say, why did we include so many things in these bills? Why do we have so many bills? The bills will get shorter, the bills will get fewer. It's a very, very important part of what we're attempting to do.
Well, I often say in my speeches that not only do they not read the bills, they often don't even write the bills. The lobbyists are writing the bills. Bills come in at the last minute. They'll be printed at midnight and passed by noon the next day, several thousand pages long. But even the writing of the bill is either done by a few clerks in high-ranking offices or by lobbyists who bring it to those clerks.
Right, and sometimes you'll find notes in the margin that got put in right before the vote occurred, or sometimes even after the vote, unfortunately. I don't know how that's legal, but it does happen.
Sometimes they will vote on a bill that has handwriting in the margin, and that's part of the official bill.
Right. And so, well, that leads into the other part of our bill, which says that there ought to be a 7-day waiting period after that final reading is over. 7 days, the bill's untouched, where the bill gets posted online so that the public can see it as well. They have an opportunity to read the bill and go over it and tell their congressperson how they feel about that.
Before the final vote?
Before the final vote.
Yeah. Well, I even go a little farther. I'm happy to support your position, but my position so far has been that they should wait 1 day for every 20 pages of the bill. So if you have a 1,000-page bill, they need to wait 50 days. I mean, literally, reading a 1,000-page bill is an enormous task because you have all the references to the Federal Register, which is 79,000 pages. So referring back and forth to read 1,000 pages would be an enormous task.
Exactly.
But we need to put, and I think if you had the onus on them to make it very hard, then maybe the bills would get shorter.
Exactly.
Because obviously reading them, if it's 5 or 10 pages and it's an important bill, you can read every word of that bill and really know if you're for or against it.
Yeah, I mean, and this is an important point that you're making. The bills are written in a dense language we call legalese, where it'll say something like, strike the word "the" from Article 1, Section 5, Paragraph A,
Right.
Section 220, whatever. I mean, it goes in, so you have to trace it down through the Federal Code or through the Federal Register and see what changes occur just by removing a word or adding a word or taking a sentence out. You need to see what those means. The implications may be profound, much more than the simple reading of even a line of text of the legislation.
Right. So read the bills.
And it is
waiting period.
I want to make sure it's a you understand it's a binding law.
Right.
You know, every one of these other proposals that people said, and we were the ones that kind of began pushing this issue. And now it's kind of caught on. People are saying, yes, they need to read their bills, but there's these 72-hour rules out there that they're talking about. And they're just rules. And it's unfortunate, but the guys that make and gals that make our laws are some of the most lawless people in the land. They break their own rules routinely.
Well, my question is, Obama said he was going to post them 72 hours beforehand. Has he posted any of them?
Actually, I think he said 5 days, and he repeated this. In fact, we've got a sound clip of him saying that in Green Bay, Wisconsin during the
But has he
campaign.
done it yet?
No, not once.
What's their excuse when the media asks them why they're not doing it?
I don't know that they're even bothering to justify it anymore. Initially, they changed the meaning of what he had said back then, but I don't even think they're bothering with that anymore.
Depends on what the meaning of the word is.
Yeah. Jim Harper with the Cato Institute has been chronicling this in a graph.
Right.
He's been updating it periodically at the web over there.
And has Cato been supportive of downsizedc.org?
We don't really, we have some relations with some of their policy people there on various issues. I mentioned Jim Harper because we work with him on Real ID, and I was on a call with him even just this morning.
Right.
But we work with people wherever we could find them to work with, left, right, whatever. This is not about a party or advancing a particular partisan agenda. We reject that. We really want to try to do what we can to advance the Constitution and limit small government.
Well, it seems to me that it's part of the overall reform movement that's out there, which is kind of what motivates the Tea Party movement. All the people that are showing up are unhappy that government's out of control, that it's a beast that needs to be tamed, that we have to get government back where the people have some say in what goes on. But I see it as part of one overall movement. What you're talking about as well as just the overall Tea Party movement to take back our government.
And that's exactly right. And another way that this is happening is that Congress frequently, I grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons, and they came on and saying, "Today I am still just a bill," and they told you in those cartoons, and even in your high school civics class, that it took a majority to actually pass something in Congress, but that's not true. Congress routinely takes a very popular idea and throws a bunch of stuff on it that is unpopular, it cannot stand or pass on its own. And so we have proposed a bill called the One Subject at a Time Act that would confine bills to one subject, clearly stated in the title of the bill. No more of these funny bills names that are designed to, sell the bill, but explain exactly what's in the bill. And then there's standing committees in both the House and the Senate. These are basically enshrined in law at this point. They're very traditionally been there for decades now. We say that committee, their work is the subject of a bill. If it goes over to another committee, that's a separate bill.
Well, they're kind of supposed to be doing some of that already, because they will occasionally rule something non-germane to a bill. They do it in the Senate, but they do it willy-nilly when they choose to do it. So I would be definitely in favor of what you're talking about and trying to enforce it. And I think they have some of the rules they have even on the books now that they aren't obeying.
Right. The third proposal that we have is the Write the Laws Act. And this deals with separation of powers issue, the unconstitutional delegation of authority that Congress has given to the executive branch, where they think they have the ability to write the laws, that they have the ability to bind us without representation.
Like the signing statements that were going on during the Bush administration and the Clinton administration,
right,
and probably Obama as well. But I think it's really a miscarriage of justice that a bill is passed, and then the president's lawyers write page after page of a signing statement and attach it to it, and they're assuming that that's part of the bill. It's
or even maybe for more
it.
prominent than the bill in some cases. I mean, I'm going to listen to this part, not this part, and so forth. And that just shouldn't be. And the Write the Laws Act says that if the regulatory agencies need additional authority or they need to set a rule of some kind, they need to send it back over to Congress, and Congress needs to pass it into law. The people need to have representation in the process.
I'm absolutely in favor of that. I think it's a great idea.
So those are three of the primary proposals we came down to talk to you about today, and there's others as well, but those are the three leading things on the Downsize DC agenda. A fourth thing would be the Enumerated Powers Act. This is an actual bill that's been introduced by John Shadegg. Your father is one of the co-sponsors of it, and it's real simple. It doesn't bind them in any way. It just simply says they've got to specify from where in the Constitution they get their authority to do what they're about to do in this legislation.
But did you see the comment the other day when Napolitano asked Representative Clyburn that question about health care? Clyburn looked at him and said, well, most of the stuff we do up here isn't authorized by the Constitution.
Right.
He just readily admitted that
yes,
most of what happens in Washington is unconstitutional. They just don't care.
And he went one step further in that interview. He also added to that it doesn't say they couldn't do anything on health care. He said, you show me where it says we can't do this, which betrays the fact that he doesn't understand what the 9th and 10th Amendments of the Constitution say.
If it's not enumerated, it's reserved to the people in the states respectively.
That's exactly right.
And I don't think you have any problem with me supporting that as well.
Very good.